Hi BuWizz fans, today we'll be motorizing the 42228 McLaren F1 car, and I'm gonna be using a BuWizz 3.0 Pro to power and control all the motors. A BuWizz motor will be used for the rear wheel drive, a powered up L motor for the front wheel steering, and a BuWizz micro motor will be used to control the gearbox and the DRS function. I also prepared a 3D model of the entire F1 car, not just the chassis, because the idea is to share the instructions of the finished motorization mod. Now, in order to preserve the exterior and the interior and the original functionality, I'm using around 120 additional parts, and with those 120 additional parts, the modification process looks like this. So if I hide the exterior, you can see how the components are placed inside the model itself. So on the left side, we have a BuWizz motor which is driving the fake engine and then the gearbox. On the left, there is also the micro motor which is controlling the gearbox and the DRS functionality via a worm gear, so it cannot be reversed, so the model cannot fall out of gear or things like that. And on the right side, there is a BuWizz 3.0 for basically controlling and powering the entire model. And this one is designed so it can easily be activated just by pressing the panel here on this side. And finally, of course, in the front, hidden in the nose, there is the steering motor, and this one is basically controlling the steering of the front wheels. And I also preserved, of course, the steering wheel, so the steering wheel is properly aligned and steers along with the front wheels. So this is the main idea, and now let's see how it works. So I think I have the running chassis done, and I just wanted to take a few moments to overview the modifications I did. First, let's start at the front. I redesigned the front end slightly to add these two tiles here, which stabilize the steering rack, so it cannot move so much sideways anymore, which should improve the steering system because it will reduce the toe out of the wheels, which creates unnecessary friction. Another thing I did in the front is, of course, I added the steering motor here, and it is driving a 12-tooth gear, which is driving a 20-tooth gear, which is steering the rack. So there's only 2 gears between the steering motor and the rack, which means it is nice and stiff, so there is very little amount of slack in the steering system. Here is the connection to the steering wheel, which was preserved, so when you steer the wheels, the steering wheel, of course, steers along. Next, if we continue towards the rear, here's the driver's seat with no changes, as you can see here. So the proportions, the size, the position, everything has remained the same. And right next to the driver's seat on the left, we have the drive motor and, of course, the micro motor for the gearbox. The gearbox is controlled so that the power goes through these gears, through this linear clutch, and then there is a little worm gear here, which drives an 8-tooth gear, which drives a 24-tooth gear, which in the end actuates the gearbox, and of course the spoiler, which will follow later. One thing to note is that I removed the white element here, which has a click up function, so I removed this one and replaced it with a smooth connector with the black one, so that you don't need unnecessary clicking power to change the gears, since the mechanism itself is already self-holding, so you cannot turn back the worm gear. Next, if we continue towards the rear, I reinforced the inner CV joints of the rear wheel drive. That is very important because these are the weakest part usually of the driving, and the inner ones have been replaced with a stronger version, but the outer ones are the same, the original. The outer ones are a bit stronger because they're held inside the hub, so they cannot split apart. So I kept the outer ones original. Another thing worth noting is that, of course, I'm using a stronger reinforced differential here with a higher end gear ratio, which gives the model the required torque to move under its quite large weight. And yes, of course, I also preserved the auxiliary electric unit here, and worth noting is that I lubricated all the moving parts in the driveline, which I also recommend you do if you're gonna do this modification, or if you're doing anything with BuWizz motors. I recommend lubrication to reduce the wear and tear of the parts and eliminate any chance of melting bricks. And on the other side, basically there's a BuWizz 3.0 here, and here is a little mechanism that should allow, once the paneling is done, that you to turn on and off the BuWizz just by pressing the panel, so you don't have to take the panels off. And yeah, that's basically it. So what's next to do is just to finish all the aesthetic bits and later to give it a test run. As you can see, the McLaren F1 car has been completed, and well, just from judging from the exterior, you would never know this is a motorized version, because I preserved the original aesthetics. So we still have a DRS that is connected to the gearbox. We still have a removable cover which shows the V6 engine that is connected to the main drive motor in this case. We still have a driver's seat in the correct position along with the driving, let's say, steering wheel, which is also connected to the front wheels. So the exterior looks the same. But if you look under the skin, you can see there is a BuWizz motor that is driving the model. And on this side, you can just barely see the outline of the BuWizz 3.0. And the BuWizz 3.0 can be easily turned on and off by pressing the side of this panel, just as originally planned. So, how can you build your own? Well, we will be making instructions for this model, and you will need around 125 additional parts, including the electronics. Why so many? Well, because I went for a safe and reliable way. So this F1 car might be a bit slower than the older ones, but I did that because this will be a model that we will be making instructions for, so it has to be more robust and reliable for our end customers. And I am really happy how it turned out, and if you want to see it how it runs outside, then remember to hit, share and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.